Look at this cute way to celebrate Dad. This embellished frame, the word art inside that says, Dad, you're our rock star. The how-to instructions are pretty straightforward. Paint your frame, glue some smooth pebbles on. I imagine the curation of the rocks would be the funnest part for the kids, right? You can purchase the Cricut cut file for the printable from Beth at the Kingston home and review the stepped-out instructions for making it. We'll link you over from our website. We constantly have a rock collection building and curating on my kitchen table so we can put those stones to good use. Welcome back to the studio, everybody. It's Father's Day this weekend, so let's celebrate dads. And we're gonna start with this one who went out of his comfort zone to create a memory for his kids.
This is big, people. Hey, it's down in India. He's doing this for you. You cheer for your dad. Cheer for your dad. Woo!
And there they go. Dads are good, aren't they, at bringing on the fun? My next guest talks about that and more in her new children's book. Author and mom of 8, Julie Boye, is joining me with all of the ways we can better support fatherhood. It's so good to see you.
He hated that water slide.
Did he hate it? Why was that such a big
He's terrified.
Oh, he doesn't like the water?
Yeah, he gets nauseous. I'm like, you're doing this.
Oh, you are.
You know,
in.
it's not a roller coaster. It's just water, soft landing. It'll be fine.
I like that you pushed him. Of course, we know and love her husband, Alex, as the rock star he is. Julie, a rock star in her own right. You just came out with this new book, which we're celebrating.
Yes.
This is so exciting.
Book number 2, the dad edition of the Mominator.
Why did you decide to take on mominating from a dad perspective?
You know, they just deserve as much credit as we do.
Yeah.
Of course, I wanted to write about us first, but I just. My illustrator was her art is so cute.
Yeah.
And the things I see Alex do at home, I was like, I just got to document these.
I love it.
In a story.
I love it. I told you last night, I texted Julie, I was so excited she was going to be here today, and I told you, I wish you could have been in our production meeting earlier this week, because we were like girl crushing on you as a team, and here's why, and I hope you take this as a sincere compliment that we mean it, but you are one of those women that seems to show up and support. You're real without being like, I don't know, you're real without being resentful. You just seem to bring a real authentic...
Or I hide it really well.
Or you fake it really darn good. But you bring this authentic energy to how you show up and support Alex, your husband, and your 8 kids at home. Does that come from a real place?
Yeah, I mean, I have to dig deep every single day. I wake up and I say, okay, I run a tight ship, but I'm gonna do this. I chose this.
Yeah.
I married this.
Yeah.
Or I mean, I married him. But I'm gonna do this and step into that boxing ring every single day and make it count, because, you know, it's YOLO at home.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I only get to do this once, and I might not do it right, but I'm trying.
I like that mentality, stepping into the boxing ring every day and digging in to do the best job that you can. In this book, you also talk about how dads are mom's best allies. Can you elaborate more on that?
Well, I mean, Alex is my best ally. I don't know about your husband.
Yes,
But I'm like, dude, can you pick her up at this time? Okay, well, I have a sitter coming in, and can you clean up the kitchen, and can you help me with this or pick up this? And the only thing he doesn't like to do is anything dog related. So that's on me.
That's on you, everything else.
But I mean, the world has changed, and generations, you know, have evolved, and I mean, not to like throw my dad under the bus, but my mom did everything.
Sure.
You know, he went to work and he came home and he ate dinner.
That was just a generation.
It was.
Yeah.
And now dads are more involved, and I'm so thankful.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm grateful that Alex, this sounds so bad, didn't grow up with a dad, because he didn't have that example of that generation. So he never saw what dads were or were not supposed to do, and so he's just following his own lead.
He throws himself in his own way, in a different way. Yeah, the other day we were in one of those tag team situations where it's like, you do this, I'll do this, and Mark like held out his hand and we just high-fived in the hallway. And sometimes it feels like that, right? Totally. Like you're just tag teaming and getting it done.
Yeah.
We love also following your family adventures on the Boye Family Jewels. You're the best. She shares these little daily clips, and I just feel validated as a mom as I peek into someone else's real world. You recently posted about your Father's Day surprise for Alex. Tell us, set this up and then we'll watch.
We had just gone through like, because if one kid gets sick, you know, it goes through the whole house, and it takes a good 3 months before it's gone.
Which I don't know if that's a blessing or a curse. We recently had the same bout, and I'm like, I wouldn't want it all at once at the same time. Like the drag out is terrible.
I know. There's no winning here. It's a lose-lose. But we had just gone through so much vomit, diarrhea, double ear infections, and like 6 kids. And I'm like, dude, we both need a break. Like, we need to celebrate just getting through that.
Just surviving.
And I was like, oh, I'll throw Father's Day on top of that. I'm like, this is for Father's Day. But really it was because we got through horrible sickness.
Yeah, yeah.
So I just surprised him with a little trip to Vegas.
His reaction was so fun. Let's watch.
We're going to Las Vegas tomorrow morning.
What?
Yes. Do you want me to tell you something?
Me and you?
Yes. No kids allowed.
No kids allowed? Just me and you? You're not staying for like half an hour and going back home?
No fooling. So
You're not staying for a half an hour and then leaving me. You're staying, me and you. That was fun.
Because half the time we're taking 2 separate cars. You know, because I got to get home to put somebody to bed, or the sitter has to leave at this time.
Yeah.
It's like I said, it's divide and conquer, or you both sink.
Yeah, right. You gotta swim together. As we talk about celebrating dads, which your book does, the Mominator Dad Edition, there's a few other points that you've kind of drawn from the pages and from your real life on ways we can better show up and support and esteem fatherhood. First, you say recognize their contribution.
Yeah. In fact, I actually sent this message to Alex. I said, I'm going on Studio 5.
Yeah.
Help me with some of these questions. What would you know, what do other dads want to hear? You know, from the wisdom of my mouth.
Yes.
And he just said, well, recognize us for what we do and what we don't do. You know, acknowledge the things that we are contributing as opposed to the things that we're not. Yeah. And it's easy for so many of us as moms and as wives especially to, you know, if they've done the dishes, to acknowledge it. Because I'm like, there's been times where I'm like, no, I'm not going to say thank you because I do it 50,000 times a week and I don't get thanked.
Right.
So it's so easy to be like, I'm not going to thank you for picking up the kid. I'm not going to thank you for vacuuming. You're part of this household too. But then I'm like, do I want to live like that, or do I want to thank him and acknowledge him and just make my marriage better just by not being prideful?
Yeah, it becomes about you. Like, this is the person I want to be.
Yeah.
I want to live like this in a space of gratitude and in a space of
thank him anyway,
Yeah.
even if I'm like, well, I did this like 50 times yesterday.
Right.
Thank him anyway.
Right. Validation, you say, is an important a thought line to consider as well. And I often think about this, Julie, because sometimes, and I don't want to fall into stereotypical, definitions. I know every person and every marriage is different, but I get a lot of validation just from my kids. And sometimes I have to think, I don't know that he gets that same validation in that same way from the hugs and kisses.
Totally. Well, and it's because they go to work and, they'll have these credentials or they'll have their degrees all, and Alex has a ton of awards, the Pearl Awards and the Dove Awards and, all these, amazing things he's done with suicide prevention. And there's just awards and trophies and medals and framed things. And I'm like,
here I am.
So I've got to like find something that I find value in and something that makes me feel like I am killing this too.
Yeah.
Because they don't get it at home as much. We've got to find it at home.
Yeah, find that validation. And finally, you say to better support fatherhood, we shouldn't compare it to motherhood.
Oh my gosh. I mean, there's no comparison. I mean, how do you compare childbirth to, being the 100% provider?
Right.
Or how do you compare, I don't know, yard work versus the indoor work, right? You don't, because you're splitting the load at this point.
Yeah.
There's no more of that, I think, in this day and age. It's double duty, it's splitting the load, it's being partners and not comparing whose job is harder.
Right. That's a good place to land, right? Acceptance kind of leads to the attitude that I was talking about. Just this attitude of I'm here doing my stuff, I can support him as best I can, and together we're that good team. And you are. It's so fun, the way you share your life with all of us. Where can we get the book?
It's the BoyeFamilyJewels.com. Will lead you to Amazon. You can get it on Amazon.
Super fun. Proud of you, Julie. Always great to see you. You're a good friend. You're a good inspiration to all of us.